good participation here. I'd like to call the meeting of January 12th, 2021 to order. I am advised that there is no physical quorum present, so as I call the meeting of January 12th, 2021 to order, DuPage County Board will adhere to rules, of course. A physical quorum of the members is not present. However, pursuant to Section 7E of the Open Meetings Act, members are permitted to attend remotely. Either one member of the committee, the chief administrative officer, or our chief legal counsel are physically present either at the regular meeting location. Any of those who are present at the regular meeting location complies with Section 7E. In-person attendance and public comments are allowed, subject to attendance limitations required to ensure the health and safety of all those who attend. So I'd like to call this meeting to order, and I would like to ask, if I may please, Member Greg Schwarzy, would you be kind enough to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all.
Okie dokie. There we go. I'd like to welcome Pastor Sue Allen from the Living Lord Lutheran Church in Bartlett to lead us in invocation. Pastor Sue Allen, please proceed.
Thank you, Chairman Cronin. Thank you for inviting me here today. I'm the lead pastor at Living Lord Lutheran Church in Bartlett, and I want to bring you greetings, certainly, from that congregation as we gather virtually also. In these days when the days seem to begin to lengthen, we're filled with some joy at that and joy at the sunshine that graces us today. But we're also, as a community, as a congregation, as a board, I am sure, all exhausted. We're exhausted from the things that we've had to cope with during this last year. And so we pray today for an end to that exhaustion, or at least some relief, and know that our burdens are carried corporately, and so that eases all of us. I invite you to join me in prayer. Loving Creator, you gathered us together and created us as a community, knowing that it was not right that we should be alone, and that together we can do all things, strengthened by you. We ask for your blessing upon this gathering, and as decisions are made and things are discussed, that we may keep in mind, above all else, your love for us and your command for us to love each other. Grace us with your presence. Embolden us with your power. Strengthen us through your love. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor. Mr. Clerk, Mr. Deputy Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Chaplin.
Here.
Chavez.
Here.
Covert.
Here.
Desart.
Here.
DeCiani.
Here.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Here.
Hart.
Here.
Krajewski. LaPlante.
Here.
Ozog.
Here.
Pachowski. Renahan.
Here.
Rutledge.
Here.
Schwarzy.
Here.
Selman.
Here.
Tornatore. Here. And Zay.
Here.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Clerk. Move on to the order of business entitled Chairman's Report. I do have a couple of presentations to make. As all of you know, we are celebrating Black History Month at this board meeting, and I'd like to invite some really impressive leaders and folks that have made a huge commitment to our community to join me via Zoom, and that is Gwinnett Tilly Turner, Dr. Natanya Montez, and Amy Calhoun, all from the College of DuPage. We welcome you and really appreciate your commitment to celebrating this momentous occasion, this historical event of significance, this period of time with us today and throughout this year, frankly. One of the best things about this job for me is that you get to meet a lot of interesting people. Last year, we all met historian and author Gwinnett Tilly Turner, one of our region's foremost authorities on the Underground Railroad, when she was our guest last January. She literally wrote the book on the Underground Railroad in Illinois. And as we designed a year of educational activities with the College of DuPage in our Unite Against Racism initiative, creating a free, widely available history of the Underground Railroad in DuPage County was a priority for me because of the wonderful resource I knew we had in Mrs. Turner. Dr. Natanya Montez from COD agreed, and we pulled together additional experts from the college, also from Napier Settlement and the DuPage Historical Museum, to create a really wonderful video program that will debut during Black History Month on February 25th. This is just one of the important and meaningful educational activities that I can highlight for our celebration of Black History Month. Mrs. Turner, Dr. Montez, and program producer Amy Calhoun are all here to receive our Black History Month proclamation, which I will read, and then I'm going to ask you to talk a bit more about this program and some of the other activities, if I may, please. So that resolution is as follows. Whereas the month of February is celebrated as National Black History Month, recognizing the heritage and achievements of African Americans. And whereas this annual event gives DuPage County residents and all Americans a chance to recognize and commemorate the contributions African Americans have made and continue to make that are an integral part of our society. And whereas the event began in 1926 as Negro History Week, created by historian Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans to raise awareness of African Americans' contributions to civilization. And whereas the celebration was expanded to a month in 1976 during the nation's bicentennial, President Gerald Ford urged Americans to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. And whereas the College of DuPage, in conjunction with local experts from the community, including Napier Settlement and the DuPage Historical Museum, will present a history of the Underground Railroad in DuPage County and provide this as a free and accessible resource for the community. And whereas, as we mark National Black History Month, DuPage County joins all Americans in celebrating our nation's diverse heritage and culture, and we continue our efforts to create a world that is more just, more peaceful, and more prosperous for us all. So now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Daniel J. Cronin, Chairman of the DuPage County Board, and members of the board do hereby recognize February as National Black History Month and support and commend the efforts of local organizations such as the College of DuPage for their work to engage, promote, recognize, and support equality for all people in our community while encouraging a new generation of leadership and achievement in DuPage County. I'll entertain a motion.
Move DeCiani.
So moved by Member DeCiani, seconded by Member Renahan. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Enacted this 9th day of February 2021. And I can't tell you how proud we are to have leaders here that can join us and talk to us about Black History Month. And so I'm going to turn it over to our guests, Glenette Tilly Turner, Dr. Natanya Montez, and Amy Calhoun from College of DuPage, to share some of their thoughts with us too. And I'm not sure what order you want to present, but please, I would probably suggest our esteemed author on the Underground Railroad. We'd love to hear from you first, please. You're on mute. You have to push that unmute button.
Did that do it?
Yeah, you got it. You got it.
Thank you, Chairman. Excuse me. My screen just. Thank you. This is a great honor and just really just such a personal sense of pride and appreciation. Did you know that whenever you drive down, excuse me for being so hoarse. Did you know that whenever you drive down Ogden Avenue, take the Metro train into Chicago, or stroll along the DuPage River, you're retracing the route of the historic Underground Railroad? I think knowing this just enhances our lives and just gives such meaning to our sense of place as we live in DuPage County. Most Underground Railroad passengers, whom I prefer to call freedom seekers, had been enslaved in Missouri. They had to watch and wait for years for just the opportune moment to escape. And they set out for the unknown. They had to survive on edible plants and cross the mighty Mississippi in order to reach river towns in Illinois. Towns such as Quincy, Alton, or Chester, where they may or may not have been assisted by Black or white Underground Railroad workers. From there, they set out for Chicago, the terminus of the Illinois Underground Railroad, by way of rivers, old highways, and sometimes hidden in boxcars, traveling on foot and the bottoms of farm wagons, or on train lines that eventually became present-day metro lines. It is singular that the city whose founder was Haitian-born Jean-Baptiste de Sable was the terminus of most of the Illinois Underground Railroad routes. Freedom seekers often passed through Naperville, Downers Grove, Hinsdale, Warrenville, Wheaton, Glen Ellen, Lombard, and other DuPage cities and towns on their journey. I urge you to check out the video to learn intriguing details about this little-known chapter of our county's history. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, Glenette. It's just awesome, and we're so fortunate to have you as such a resource. I want to ask Dr. Natanya Montez to please share her thoughts with us. I really first want to commend you. I really can't tell you how much we at the county appreciate this collaboration and this partnership with College of DuPage, and really wouldn't have been possible if you didn't express your vision and share it with us. And so I just, we're just delighted to work with you, and it's an honor. And so please, Dr. Natanya Montez, please proceed.
Good morning. Thank you so much for that warm introduction. It's very humbling. We're so happy to be here this morning in partnership and celebration of Black History Month with the county. As many of you know, this important journey began last fall with a conversation that Chairman Cronin and I had about how the county and COD could collaborate to create change. And that turned into this wonderful opportunity to launch CHAPS Unite Against Racism. And the goal was simple. It was a simple one to think about ways we could reflect, educate, and act. And with the support of our faculty, staff, students, and so many of you here today, the initiative has reached thousands of people throughout DuPage County, and we're so grateful for that. Even the blog, our blog, Speak Your Truth, we've heard through a diverse variety of voices, including Chairman Cronin's, that have provided honest and open perspectives. And we've also engaged audiences through a host of virtual forums, social media posts, and we're going to continue that conversation with this new video that will launch Thursday, February 25th at 12 noon. And we invite each and every one of you to get involved. And so I want to turn it over to my colleague, Amy Calhoun, who's going to tell you a little bit more about the video premiere. Amy?
Thank you, Dr. Montez. Again, we're so pleased to be here this morning, and we encourage you to join us at noon on February 25th on the COD Facebook page for the premiere of the Underground Railroad video produced in partnership with DuPage County. We're learning that many people are surprised to learn that the Underground Railroad has ties in DuPage. In this video, we have local historical experts, Glenette Tilley-Turner, Jean Schultz-Angel, Zach Bishop, and Sam Matrani discussing some of the secret locations used throughout the county that provided safe havens for slaves seeking freedom. Following this video, as we move into spring and continue with this initiative, we will be beginning a series called Equity in Economics, Education, and Enforcement of the Law. We call it the E4 series. Equity in Economics kicks off March for us with a panel discussion featuring Greg Bedeloff of Choose DuPage, Joe Cassidy of Innovation DuPage, and Michael Childress of the NAACP. For April, we'll focus on equity in education and host a virtual roundtable discussing the topic, Achieving an Equitable Classroom in the 21st Century. And then finally, we will close out the E4 series in May with Equity and Enforcement of the Law. We're thrilled to be partnering with a wide variety of constituents in DuPage County, and I invite you to follow along on Facebook as dates and additional information are announced. Thank you again for your collaboration in the Chaps Unite Against Racism initiative.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's awesome. So I want to thank our guests, and it made it very meaningful punctuation for celebrating Black History Month as we celebrate our diversity throughout the year in our partnership with COD. And I encourage all board members and families and friends of board members and others to participate in these events that have been so thoughtfully planned and so wonderfully executed, I believe. So with that, I have a few remarks I'd like to share with you, please, on the order of chairman's report. And so first of all, I think you should know that today at 2 p.m., all are invited to join the Board of Health President Sam Tornatore and me as we tour the new community vaccination site, which opens its doors at the DuPage County Fairgrounds tomorrow morning. This new site will allow the health department to increase the number of vaccinations it provides for all those in the 1A and 1B groups. We are still limited as to the number of vaccinations we can give, which is quite frustrating for all of us, based on the supply of vaccine from the state. But we are hoping this new site will provide thousands of vaccinations a week and help alleviate some of the frustration for people in those categories who want vaccine and have not been able to get it. And we anticipate the supplies will be ramping up. And we anticipate that there will be better disclosure and transparency about where all the vaccinations are going across the state. Again, that event is at 2 p.m. today at the fairgrounds, and it will be streamed live on the DuPage County Health Department's YouTube channel so the public may also learn more about it. Sunday is Valentine's Day, and the public may join us in sharing some warm wishes with our DuPage Care Center residents. There are a couple of ways you can make sure residents feel the love, if you will. You may fulfill some of their wishes on the residents' Amazon wish list, or you may send some Valentine greeting balloons. Simply go to dpccfoundation.org to learn more and get involved. We thank everyone for contributing to programs that enrich the lives of our most vulnerable residents living at the Care Center. I know board members have been engaged over there, and that's a good gesture. Of course, thank you very much. On Valentine's Day and every day, it's important they know they are cherished members of our community. Finally, allow me to congratulate those presented with the DuPage Sheriff's 2020 Presidential Volunteer Service Award, including Electroflex CEO Jason Conander of Roselle, Scarce founder Kay McKean and Tracy Haluka, and Ralph King of the DuPage Senior Citizens Council. Jason Conander was selected for various volunteer efforts, including serving on the Sheriff's Community Panel, his continuous donations of PPE for our deputies, and most importantly, his efforts to secure and help the Sheriff's Office distribute 1,000 turkeys and many other items to create 1,000 Thanksgiving dinners for the county's neediest residents. According to Sheriff Mendrick, quote, no one individual has done more or donated more to assist our community service programs, unquote, than Jason Conander. Kay McKean, we've known her as a wonderful and effective advocate for environmental conservation causes. She was honored for assisting with the Thanksgiving dinner distribution and for her efforts establishing and maintaining Hope's Garden for the jail inmate horticulture program. Kay's done a marvelous job with everything she's involved in and want to commend her. Tracy Haluka and Ralph King were honored for helping deputies distribute as many as 200 packages of 5 prepared meals for seniors every other Saturday morning from August through November in connection with the DuPage Senior Citizens Council Meals for Elderly Adults program. I think these are really very deserving community members, and I add my voice to those commending these worthy volunteers. So thank you very much. Great citizenship. Thank you for all that you do, and thank you, Sheriff Mendrick. With that, I think that concludes my chairman's report. We move on to the next order of business entitled Public Comment. And as you know, we make a very serious effort, a sincere effort to invite the public to participate, to share their thoughts and their ideas. It's been somewhat of a, I wouldn't say a struggle, but a challenge to try to navigate through this part of the proceeding with in this COVID environment and with online commentary and so forth. So, but I want to reiterate our genuine commitment to this. We invite folks to participate. It's our duty and our obligation as public servants. According to our county board rules, members of the public shall be afforded time to address the board. Individual remarks shall not exceed 3 minutes in length, nor shall the total time provided for all remarks exceed 30 minutes. So the clerk is the keeper of these documents, I believe. And so, Mr. Johnson, would you please advise how you'd like to proceed?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We do have several individuals in the boardroom today to make in-person public comment. The first is Michael Childress of the NAACP in Wheaton.
Good morning, members of the board. Please forgive my voice. It's kind of going in and out. I'm here today to discuss, Today, it feels a little bit like Groundhog Day. My name is Michael Childress, and my organization and my family is the NAACP. I'm here not so much to speak to the county board as I am to speak to the voters of DuPage County. I am convinced that HB 3653 entitles us to a new day. And I'm further convinced that HB 3653. The opponents of that bill do not believe that liberty and justice for all should include black bodies. While we're discussing, it's ironic we're discussing Black History Month, but we have opponents of this bill that will not remember that Sandra Bland was a DuPage County member, and how did she die? We also want to talk about George Floyd. How did he die? How about Breonna Taylor? How did she die? How about Jacob Blake? How did he get 7 bullets in his back? How about Tamir Rice? And finally, for those that talk a lot about cash bonds, remember Khalif Browder, a young man that was arrested, spent 3 years in Rikers Island because he couldn't afford to get out for stealing a backpack. He was later acquitted and then committed suicide because of the atrocities that was heaped on him. Now I'd like to get into what I call misinformation, because misinformation today is a big lie tomorrow. On February 6th, we spent the entire day with State Senator L.G. Sims addressing the NAACP to close misinformation gaps. The first thing he told us was, big lie number one, the bill was passed with no hearings. The bill started in September 21st and was signed January 5th, and there was 126 days of hearing. The bill was passed in the middle of the night. That's big lie number two. Negotiations began 1 week earlier, but the opponents of the bill continued to move the goalposts. So at what point do you cut off negotiations, because there's no serious negotiations going on, and it went into the night and they signed the bill. Big lie number three, it was passed during the lame duck session. It was actually brought up in the veto session, but was canceled due to COVID, so it had to be brought up in the lame duck session. Big lie number four, it defunds the police. It actually creates more funding opportunities. There's money in there for mental health, and there's also co-respondent funding. This will prevent situations where a 9-year-old black girl with mental illness problems was maced by a police officer for acting like a child. Ironic, the child had to remind him that she was in fact a child. Big lie number five, cash bonds will make you safer. Every citizen in the United States has the presumption of innocence. That's what the Constitution affords us. Also, according to the state police, the Illinois State Police records, only 20% of all crimes end up in an arrest. This is for rape, for murder, for assaults, for violent robbery, carjackings, and domestic violence. This means that there's an 80% likelihood that the perpetrators of this crime will never be arrested. So where is it making us safer? Judges have the exact same discretion to keep dangerous criminals and flight risk in jail and prevent them from being released. The only change is cash forfeiture has been removed for freedom. In 3 months, in less than 3 months, we will have local elections. Then it will carry into the 2022 cycle. The NAACP, as well as all of our partner organizations, will remember which side our elected officials stood on. No school board member, no park district, no library board, no city council, no trustee, no mayor, no township candidate will get a free pass. We will remember your votes today, and we will activate our networks tomorrow, and we will start to address the inequities in DuPage County. The NAACP is also setting up town hall meetings to discuss the merits of HB 3653. We will be open to all opponents and proponents of this bill. All you have to do is call us, and we'll put you on as a panelist in this bill, please call us. These town halls will also be available to every citizen, every voting citizen, and every citizen in the DuPage County area, as long as they register on a first-come, first-served basis. Thank you.
Next, we have Chief of Police Ray Toronto of Warrenville.
Morning, Chairman, board members. My name is Ray Toronto. I'm the police chief for the city of Warrenville. I also serve as president for the DuPage County Chiefs of Police Association and chairman of the executive board of the DuPage Metropolitan Emergency Response and Investigation Team, otherwise known as MERIT. A couple of comments, if I may, about House Bill 3653 to advise the board that the police chiefs in DuPage County, and as far as I know, all my colleagues in the state of Illinois, we work closely with the Illinois Chiefs Association. We support any type of reform that makes policing better. When we talk about atrocities that we've seen that have happened, that should not have happened, I can't think of any of these that happened in DuPage County, Illinois. And one of the reasons is that we hire the best candidates. We give them the best training. We monitor them scrupulously, and they are held accountable. But the reason DuPage County enjoys such a high standard of living is because of the fair and just prosecutions of criminal offenders by our state's attorney and the very thorough work of our police officers. So just a couple of things about House Bill 3653. It would not allow the police to remove an individual who, for example, followed, let's say, a woman into her place of business and was ordered to leave and yet refused. If the police were called, they could come and issue him a citation, but they could not physically remove that person. I myself, in my 45-year career, 30 years with the Elmhurst Police Department and 15 years as chief of police with Warrenville, have handled homicide situations where a offender waited until a person exited their place of work before they committed a murder. That is one thing. The other is that using a taser device, it indicates that you would not be able to use or deploy this at an individual's back, which absolutely contradicts the training that is given by the corporation where we buy these. They indicate the best place to use them is in the person's back. It affords the biggest target. It is furthest away from any type of vital organs such as the heart or the lungs, and it does not impact or risk an impact of hitting in the facial area. The other issue I'd like to bring up is when it talks about prohibiting municipalities from getting military surplus equipment, which some people have deemed as tanks. These are armored personnel vehicles. This isn't offensive equipment, ladies and gentlemen. This is life-saving equipment. We have seen that early Saturday morning, this Saturday morning, a large group of partygoers were at the Indian Lakes Resort at Bloomingdale. There was an incident that occurred where a fight broke out. Unfortunately, there were people there that were armed. And the police responded. They had 6 people shot. 1 unfortunately died. But we use these types of vehicles to insert officers into dangerous situations and to potentially rescue victims of this type of violence if they can be rescued and brought from the area. Having been the chair of the Emergency Response and Investigation Team, which has a SWAT component, we do not use, and I don't know of any SWAT teams that use dynamic entries into homes. And the reason being is that even in the best prepared situations, there was going to be casualties. And the police are not the military. We do not have an acceptable or a built-in casualty rate that we're willing to accept. So it's life-saving equipment. So these are some of the issues. And the last I would bring up is that many of the things, prohibiting chokeholds and what have you, these have been used in DuPage County for years. My policies, when I came here and instituted new policies, in Warrenville 15 years ago, that was put in there. And that only in the event that the officer had to employ deadly force, essentially if he was fighting for his or her life, could he do something like that to preserve his own life. We would like the idea of being able to review a body camera footage before a report is written. That's for accuracy. That's not for getting our stories together. The camera is there and it's recorded it. There's no way it can be tampered with. And even NFL, Major League Baseball, and National Hockey League officials are allowed to review camera footage to make sure that they get an accurate call when tasked with this. There are a lot of psychological phenomena that go on in tense, critical situations where police officers will, if they're in a life and death situation, will have tunnel vision because of that. And, it only makes sense that you want to write the most accurate, factual report possible and to review that camera footage, which cannot be altered or deleted. To me, only it makes sense. So while we applaud some of the training and what have you that is called for here, those are some of our major concerns. Nobody wants to work with a brutal or a corrupt police officer less than other police officers. We don't want them on the department any more than the citizenry does. But what I'm asking is that you consider with this is that these are safety measures.
Excuse me, Chairman, we're at 6 minutes right now.
Oh,
6
okay.
minutes to the speaker.
That's all. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, I wasn't timing either Mr. Childress or the police chief, given the nature of the subject matter, Member Dessart, and also the clerk is charged with the responsibility of managing the public comment here. So please proceed, Deputy Clerk.
Next, we have Police Chief David Sharr of Winfield.
I have filed an appearance only. I have no comment at this time.
My apologies, Chief Sharr. Next, we have also record of attendance only, Jim Gunther of the Westmont Police Department. Then we have Steve Johnson, Friends of the East Branch DuPage River Trail of Glen Ellen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, county board members far and wide. You're dealing with a lot of difficult issues today. I'm here to briefly address one issue that is not difficult and that we can all agree on, and that is building a nature path, a greenway, down the East Branch DuPage River. It was very interesting. We heard from our historian how the DuPage River was a connector for the east-west routes of the Underground Railroad. So this East Branch DuPage River Trail will be a connector between 5 different east-west trails that we have in our wonderful DuPage County trail system. Now, those of you who served on the board for a long time are familiar with this, but those of you who are new to the board may not be aware that this project is a project that's been going on for some time. It's been very active the last 4 years. The segment from the Great Western Trail down to the Morton Arboretum is under planning right now by the Transportation Committee. Thank you very much. We thank the chairman for taking the lead in making this happen and for continuing to fund this effort. And I'd just like to challenge the newer board members to familiarize yourselves with this project and lend the support to it that previous board members have given. This project will take a lot to get done, but we're leaving a wonderful legacy for our children and our grandchildren. And as I said, as we grapple with difficult problems, it's nice to take some time out, agree on a bipartisan issue that will benefit everyone. Lately, there were some issues about how we were going to route this trail in a section where we're going to take a very simple way and run it down a highway, Route 53, or are we going to do a little extra work and move it along the river and make a true greenway? And the county has wisely decided to investigate moving down along the river, creating a greenway that we're going to leave as a legacy for future residents of this county. And I thank you very much for your ongoing support. and I hope to meet with some of you in the future to acquaint you further about our trail. Thanks.
Next, we have Edward Buga to read our first two online public comment submissions.
Good morning. The first one is Becky Simon of the League of Women Voters of DuPage County. Her subject matter is outstanding election division performance. As many municipalities approach their local election in April, the League of Women Voters in DuPage County would like to pause and acknowledge the outstanding work of the DuPage County Election Commission, who successfully held a fair, free, and safe election in the midst of an historic turnout and the complicated matters of COVID-19. The November 3rd, 2020 election was the most ever cast in an election, and DuPage was no exception. The staff at the DuPage County Election Commission works year-round to provide fair, accurate, and transparent elections. This past year, they worked very hard challenging workplace conditions, overseeing a historic voter turnout in the midst of the pandemic, and they saw a record early voting and a flood of vote-by-mail applications and ballots. Facing an historic election in the face of a raging pandemic, the DuPage County Clerk and her staff worked 7 days a week compiling CDC guidelines to ensure that all residents were provided the opportunity to vote safely. They worked diligently to update and modernize the DuPage election system, and they directed the efforts to acquire a new e-poll book and a new automatic ballot sorter. They also modernized the filing procedures for all candidates. Further, the team ensured a sufficient number of election judges throughout the lobbying to the board to approve doubling the compensation and holding judge training both online and in person. During the past year, Ms. Kazmazik and her team were also very responsive to the League of Women Voters chapters during the ever-changing climate of this election. We applaud her and her staff's commitment and dedication, and we value our partnership with the DuPage County Election Commission to provide fair and safe elections for the rest of DuPage County. The second one is from Jean Hayes. Subject matter is DuPage signed anti-transparency contract with the Dominion Voting System, Inc. on January 24th, 2020. DuPage County Clerk and her Deputy Chief signed an anti-transparency contract with the Dominion Voting System on January 24th, 2020. Anti-transparency contract is the complete opposite of what our elections should be about. They should be transparent, not anti-transparent. The smell of this but smells of corruption. We the people are angry and they need to be fired. How can they sign something like this on their own? This type of decision should not have made by them. Fire them. She has a link over here to the Edgar County Watchdog System. And then from the contract, number 8, customers shall take all the necessary action or appropriate to assert all the applicable and potentially applicable exemptions from disclosure from the FOIA statute, and take all the other legal permissible steps to ensure disclosure of the information, including without limitation, commencement or defense of any legal action related to such disclosure. In the events customers receive a request for information under the FOIA statute, customers shall inform Dominion of such request within 10 days of the customer's acknowledgement, or should under shorter periods necessary under the FOIA statute to avoid prejudice to the Dominion ability to oppose disclosure. Dominion shall use its efforts to assist and support customers' exercise of any statutory exemption in denying a records request under the Freedom of Information Act. In the event of the customer becomes subject to fines, costs, or fees pursuant to Section 11 of the Freedom of Information Act, relying upon Dominion's claim that the information requested is exempt, Dominion shall identify customers from those fines and costs, notwithstanding any other provisions in this agreement. In the event the customer is required by court order to disclose any of the information, customers shall give written notice to Dominion at the earlier as soon as reasonable practical after the title imposition of such an order.
Thank you, Ed. Our next online public comment submission was by Holly Blastic of Naperville. Subject, criminal justice reform and HB 3653 is just and needed. Comment I'm writing today out of deep frustration with the misinformation and disingenuous assertions made in opposition to the overdue criminal justice reforms led by the Illinois Legislative Black Caucus and HB 3653. I practiced as an assistant appellate defender from 2006 to 2013. The disparities and injustices that prevail in our criminal justice system were clear then, even before cell phone video made these obvious to the general public. HB 3653 takes the right steps to work toward a just system that allows for rehabilitation and reform rather than costly and discriminatory retribution. Today, I'm particularly concerned by a press release from DuPage County itself that strongly implies that under the new bill, a juvenile charged with 2 Class X felonies would not be detained despite threatening that he would be able to find and shoot the law enforcement officers who arrested him. Please be honest about what this bill does. Those charged with forcible felonies may still be detained, especially here where the defendant poses a specific, real, and present threat to a person. That is the language of Section 110-2C. Moreover, law enforcement and state's attorneys played a role in adjusting this language. They also have 2 years to implement the new procedures. Dangerous individuals will not be escaping detention. This bill simply prevents wealthy yet dangerous people from buying their way out. Talk about the real bill and focus on getting CIT training, implicit bias training, and body cameras to law enforcement in DuPage. Thank you. Next comment is from Dan Bailey of Wheaton, subject Criminal Justice Reform Bill HB 3653. Comment, please support the Criminal Justice Reform Bill HB 3653. We need to end cash bail for people charged with crimes. The reason too many people spend months or years in prison before they are convicted is because they don't have the money for bail. During this time, innocent people lose jobs, homes, apartments, families, etc. They are punished before conviction. This hurts these people and destabilizes our communities. It is counterproductive if the goal is to reduce crime. People without jobs, housing, and their family ties are more likely to be lured into crime because they won't have a way to support themselves legally, and also less reason to care about our communities. So I urge you to support HB 3653. Please urge the governor to sign it. Next comment is from Eric Martinez of Glenellen, subject EBDRT. Comment, I have been supportive in following the ongoing plans to build the EBDRT, and I'm very excited for this project, as I've felt for years that the community near the Arboretum desperately needs safe ways to travel by foot, bike, etc. This is also true when trying to travel between Butterfield and Roosevelt. There are currently no safe ways to do this. While a bike trail along Route 53 is a much better situation than what is currently available, a trail through the green space east of the Butterfield East neighborhood would be much more advantageous, as it will better promote healthy means of transportation and recreation, while also creating the much-needed safe means of travel through the area. This comment from Terrence Mullally of Lombard, subject Greenway Trail. Comment, a Greenway Trail is a more complicated project, but it has vast and enduring benefits for residents of DuPage. I urge you to reconsider the construction of the East Branch Trail along IL 53, and instead focus your political leadership, vision, and effort to make the East Branch DuPage River Trail a true Greenway path. Safety factor alone should be enough to keep the trail off of Route 53. This comment is from Nancy Magnuson of Lombard, subject East Branch Trail. Comment, for the last 2 years, the Friends of the East Branch Trail have focused on creating a trail in the Greenway along the East Branch DuPage River. The goal was and is to connect local parks, businesses, and communities and provide an enjoyable recreation and active transportation route between the Morton Arboretum, Prairie Path, and Great Western Trail. At the meeting last week, the East Branch Trail Steering Committee decided to pursue a plan to build a trail along IL Route 53 between Roosevelt Road, IL 38, and Butterfield Road, IL 56. While a bike path along Route 53 is better than nothing, the Friends of the EBDRT feel that this route is the least desirable. It will bypass Brentwood and Kensington parks in the Butterfield East neighborhood. It is also much less scenic, and the proximity to traffic may discourage the casual biker or family walks. They truly feel it is a better use of our dollars to build an aesthetically pleasing greener trail. Although more expensive in the short term, it will raise property values, draw people to the area, and provide a place for families and individuals to enjoy the little green space we have left. If this pandemic has taught us nothing, it has taught us the importance of taking a break, spending time together, and enjoying the outdoors. Please reconsider building the trail along Route 53. If building along Route 53, I fear that we will be throwing money away on a trail that would be underutilized. Thank you. Next comment from Eileen Maggiore of Lombard, subject East Branch Trail. Comment, please consider having the trail go through Butterfield, East Kensington, and Brentwood parks. It is safer for all DuPage residents, and not to mention quieter and prettier than Route 53. Comments from Richard Drainane, subject reconsideration of the logistics of the East Branch DuPage River Trail System. Comment, I would strongly urge the County Board to give serious consideration in the construction of the EBDRT by making it more of a greenway trail rather than a highway trail. Although a greenway trail is a more complicated and maybe a somewhat costlier option, The benefits would far outweigh the costs. More people would use the trail if it were of the scenic variety versus one that looks directly at a busy main road. The idea is to bring communities together, and to me, the Greenway option would do just that. Plus, with more people using the trail, local businesses would benefit, as it would be a matter of convenience for people to stop in and trade with these businesses. I'm an avid cyclist who lives in the Butterfield East subdivision, and I would definitely want to take advantage of the EBDRT, especially if I was removed from fast-moving cars along the trail while allowing me the opportunity to enjoy the scenery. Thank you. It's a comment from Kelsey Zienti, subject reconsider trail location. Comment: for the last 2 years, the Friends of the East Branch Trail have focused on creating a trail in the Greenway alongside the East Branch DuPage River. The goal was and is to connect local parks, businesses, and communities and provide an enjoyable recreation and active transportation route between the Morton Arboretum, Prairie Path, and Great Western Trail. At the meeting last week, the East Branch Trail Steering Committee decided to pursue a plan to build a trail alongside Aisle Route 53 between Roosevelt Road, Aisle 38, and Butterfield Road, Aisle 56. While a bike path alongside Route 53 is better than nothing, the Friends of the EBDRT feel this route is the least desirable. It will bypass Brentwood and Kensington Parks in the Butterfield East neighborhood. It is also much less scenic, and the proximity to traffic may discourage the casual biker or family walks. As a member of the Butterfield East community, I welcome the extra foot traffic and look forward to the greenery access it will provide. Next comment is also from Kelsey Zienti. Comment: for the last 2 years, the Friends of the East Branch Trail focused on creating a trail in the Greenway alongside the East Branch DuPage River. The goal was and is to connect local parks, businesses, and communities and provide an enjoyable recreation and active transportation route between the Morton Arboretum, Prairie Path, and Great Western Trail. There are over 5,000 signatures on the petition for the East Branch Trail. Community support for this project continues to grow. As a Butterfield East resident, I'm thrilled to have safe trail access to DuPage's extensive nature preserves and greenery. I'm thankful to Chairman Dan Cronin for his leadership in promoting the East Branch Trail as a Greenway trail. I ask you also to guide this project to completion. Construction of the East Branch DuPage River Trail is a bipartisan issue. Whether you are new to the county board, Republican, or Democrat, I urge you to keep the momentum going on this project. Connecting existing trails will benefit all residents of DuPage County, not only those in District 4. This is a wonderful opportunity to show your bold political leadership and vision. The East Branch Trail will have vast and enduring health, transportation, and recreation benefits for residents of DuPage County. Generations to come will be able to enjoy the beautiful green spaces and make our county a great place in which to live. Thank you for the opportunity to comment today. We are grateful for your service to DuPage County and to all the people who will soon enjoy using the East Branch Greenway Trail. Next comment's from Kristen Burke of Lombard, subject East Branch Trail. Comment: thank you for your work on the development of the East Branch Trail. I would really like to see this trail connect to the Butterfield East neighborhood. As a resident who resides along the park line of Kensington Park, this would be a great asset to me and my family, including my 2 young children. It seems like a greener, safer, and more enjoyable option than along 53. Next comment is from Jonathan Luce of Lombard, subject East Branch DuPage River Trail. Comment: I hope that this project continues to move forward, not only for my active family trying to enjoy the parks, nature areas, and public lands, but also for the neighborhood that I live in to be better connected without the need to drive to all these areas. We have some of the best bike trails and parks available in DuPage County. It would be amazing to see these resources connected on a bigger scale. In a time when we are trying to move to more greener options and improve and protect health and well-being, this is a no-brainer project that can stack for fulfilling multiple needs, high value, high impact, nonpartisan. I'll continue to be vocal for this project and for those who support this project. Thank you for your time and consideration in this project. This comment's from Mary Beth Kogut of Glen Ellen, subject Greenway Trail, East Branch DuPage River. Comment: the Greenway Trail along the East Branch of the DuPage River could be a wonderful asset to our area, but only if it's feasible to actually locate it along the DuPage River. It is a terribly dangerous idea to shift the trail over to Illinois State Route 53 for several miles. There's not adequate room to try to squeeze in a Greenway Trail along Route 53. The Greenway Trail should be in an open and safe area for bikes and joggers, not along Route 53. Next comment from Julie Hayes of Glen Ellen, subject East Branch DuPage River Trail. Comment: I'm in favor of developing the bike trail that will allow greenway access from the Great Western Trail to the Morton Arboretum. It will provide a safe transportation recreation path that will benefit all for years to come. The key is keeping the trail away from busy roadways that will make bike riders as well as car drivers on the highway uncomfortable as they ride with their families. The plan to use the easement under the ComEd power lines along Route 53 is not conducive to the safety of those who use the trail. There are many areas of the easement that are very narrow that would put bike riders very near a very busy roadway. I'm not in favor of any part of the path being directed along Route 53. Please reconsider options that keep the bike trail along green areas along the East Branch of the DuPage River and away from highways. Thank you for your consideration. Final comment is from Ginger Wheeler of Glen Ellen, subject East Branch DuPage River Trail alignment, and thank you to Chairman Dan Cronin for attending the most recent steering committee meeting. Comment, Dear Honorable Chairman Cronin and DuPage County Board, I wanted to express my thanks and gratitude to Chairman Dan Cronin for attending the most recent steering committee meeting regarding the alignment of the East Branch DuPage River Trail, EBDRT. The Friends of the Trail are very grateful to Chairman Cronin, all the board members for their staff, for their support, and the staff, in particular Chris Snyder, Director of Transportation, for their help and work on the alignment of the trail. We're looking forward to a beautiful greenway trail that connects parks, allows residents to get back to nature, as well as provides a healthy, safe, and enjoyable means of active transportation for walkers, hikers, runners, and cyclists. Especially in these troubled COVID times, our trail network is one of the biggest pluses in DuPage County. Thank you, Chairman Cronin and DuPage County, for providing us with a greenway trail as planned and envisioned for so long in the comprehensive plan. Looking forward to groundbreaking. Sincerely, Ginger Wheeler, President, Friends of the East Branch DuPage River Trail. That concludes the public comment.
Okay, very nice job, Deputy Clerk Johnson. That concludes our public comment. We move on to the order of business entitled Consent. Is there a motion?
So moved, Salmon. Second, Covert.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Aye. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski. Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
And Schwarzy.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. On to the order of County Board, Member Ashley Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm going to yield to Member Sam Tornatori to present this item.
Thank you, Vice Chair Selman. I move approval of CBR 0149-21, a resolution of objection to Governor Pritzker regarding HB 3653. Mr. Chairman, I do have some comments regarding this. I don't know if I believe of the body to make those prior to the motion in a second, or if you'd rather me make those comments during the discussion stage of this. I'm happy to accommodate you and the board.
Procedurally, why don't we entertain a motion in a second, and then we can go to discussion, and it would be my intent to recognize you unless there's some objection from the body.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
But a motion?
Second, DeCiani.
Seconded by Member DeCiani. Mr. Tornatori, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Vice Chairman Selman. I've asked that this matter be brought forward this morning for two reasons: the substance of the bill, and quite frankly, how we addressed this bill 2 weeks ago, and how I think that this county board was silenced through a procedural motion. We heard this morning Police Chief Toronto and Mr. Childress, and I think some would paint those comments as being opposed to one another, but I certainly don't. I think both of these individuals are looking for police reform and safety of our communities. I won't go into the substance of the bill. We talked about it at some length 2 weeks ago. It certainly has negative effects to victims of crimes, them being possible witnesses in a bail hearing. It has negative effects to law enforcement regarding complaints, sometimes anonymous by people toward law enforcement. It has a negative effect to the Secretary of State, who will no longer have the ability to suspend or affect driving privileges for those who don't feel the necessity to pay a fine that's been imposed by a judge. It's got economic effects to counties and municipalities through the fines, through the unfunded mandates for body cameras, which we all think are good, but nonetheless expensive. I've discussed this bill with many of my constituents, police departments, officers, chiefs, with prosecutors, with mayors, with managers, and with ordinary citizens. They are concerned with the economics of the bill. They are concerned with the public safety aspect of the bill. And they are concerned with what they believe to be, notwithstanding what some may say is misinformation, the transparency of the bill when it was passed at 4:45 in the morning in a lame duck session with barely enough votes to pass. Regarding the procedural issue that I mentioned that took place 2 weeks ago, quite frankly, that is more of a concern to me than whether or not somebody votes this bill up or down. To suggest this is Groundhog Day is exactly that. And I brought it back today because we didn't get a chance to vote on this 2 weeks ago. I'm disappointed that this board didn't vote 2 weeks ago. I compliment Member Chaplin. She brought a unique procedural motion, which quite honestly would have made Mike Madigan or Mitch McConnell proud. To suggest that we as a county board can't comment to the governor on matters, that it's up to our legislative representatives to be, I presume, a buffer of some kind, flies in the face of the history of what we've done as a county board. Let me remind some of you that it wasn't that long ago that a Republican-controlled county board sent a resolution to a Republican governor to veto the telecom bill. We've sent resolutions in support of hospital tax exempt status, opposing an amendment to the Illinois Constitution toward graduated income tax. We've sent letters and resolutions for a reduction in the production and use of fossil fuels, rail safety improvement acts, positive train control extensions. And many of these were brought at the urging of Member Chaplin. She knows all too well that we've weighed in on matters legislatively as well as to the governor's office. If we're not allowed to speak to the governor, then who is? When did the governor's office become off limits from the county board? And by the way, this isn't a criticism of the governor. It's an ask of the governor. It's asking the governor to take a look at something and do the right thing, veto it, send it back, and let's do it the right way. There's one sponsor of this bill from DuPage County. It had bipartisan opposition, including Democrat Senator Linda Holmes and Representative Tara Costa Howard. And to those who will say that a trailer bill will fix this, we're discussing trailer bills to something before it's even signed by the governor. I suggest to any of you on this board, would you buy a house if the builder told you, I want you to buy it, I want you to move in, but the roof is going to leak, but don't worry, I'll fix it after you're there? Or would you tell the builder, fix the roof now, before I move in? Why would we be talking and why would we be so concerned about trailer bills when the easier thing would be is to take this and do it the right way from the beginning? It's important. It's so important that we're going to have a committee of the whole under Chairman Renahan on March 2nd. Look, if you think this legislation is good, then vote the resolution down. I may disagree with you, but I can respect you and I can accept that vote, but put it to a vote. This is not an attempt to divide this board by me. Those of you who know me know that's not my game. This is not political, and I know someone's going to say it's political, but it's not. This isn't an issue of police versus others or picking sides or who's going to get elected come April or anywhere else. I'm quite frankly offended by that. It's what we're supposed to do. It's what we were elected to do. And I don't want to sound too corny, but I just want to close with a quote from one of my favorite movies, The American President, when the president looks into the camera and says, you know, I've been spending a lot of time trying to keep my job and I forgot how to do my job. I really hope that we haven't come to the point where we're so concerned about keeping our job or defeating the other side or making a point that we forget to do our job and who we represent and who elected us. Not Cook County people, not people from Springfield, but people from DuPage County. Those are the people we represent. I ask for an up or down vote on this. I appreciate your time, and I move the motion. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Tornatore. Is anyone else seeking recognition for purposes of discussion?
Member Chaplin, please.
Member Chaplin.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Member Tornatore did mention some items that we brought forward as a board. I just want to mention that there were items, those items all had consensus. And when we've attempted to bring things forward like immigration and gun reform, we were told that because the board didn't have consensus, we were not to bring them forward. This board does not have consensus. That is true. That is true. This board, we don't believe that this is an appropriate action that we want to take. We think it's out of order, and I am going to make a motion to postpone indefinitely.
Okay. There's a motion to postpone indefinitely. We researched this previously. We know that this motion is in order. Is there a second?
I'll second it. Desart, second.
There you go. So moved by Member Chaplin, seconded by Member Desart. Okay, so we do have a motion by Member Tornatore, seconded by Member DeCiani to adopt this resolution. So I'm looking for a little bit of direction just for the purposes of making a good record here from our state's attorney. Would this be viewed as a substitute motion? We know the motion itself is substantial and is recognized under Robert's rules. But procedurally, how do you recommend we go forward here, Mr. State's Attorney?
As I discussed last time, a motion to postpone indefinitely provides that debate can be entered into on the main motion prior to that motion being acted upon. So if there's further discussion, I would suggest that the chair entertain any discussion either on the main motion or on the motion to postpone indefinitely. But the motion to postpone indefinitely gets resolved before the main motion.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Mr. State's Attorney. Is there anyone seeking recognition for purposes on this motion to postpone indefinitely or the original motion and second? Sure. Either motion. Mr. DeCiani.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would really hope that we could actually vote on this, and if we disagree on the vote, that's fine. But this directly impacts our safety, our constituent safety, and our ability as a county and as municipalities to do their job. To not take a vote on this, in my opinion, is cowardly. This is a direct impact on us and our residents. Again, we don't have to agree on it. There's 70% of the bill that I agree with, but the 30% that handcuff law enforcement and handcuff our municipalities and our county and our state's attorney, that's why we needed to, in my opinion, give our governor some direction and hopefully have him veto this and reintroduce the two bills that were later combined into one at 4 a.m. And I watched the debate. I don't know if Mr. Childress had done that or not, but it's embarrassing how this was passed. If this was passed in veto session, as he mentioned, it would have needed 71 votes. It barely got 60. So you need a supermajority in veto session, but in lame duck, you only need a 50% plus one vote. So, and they literally had the roll open for about 10 minutes and to get to 60 votes. I'm proud of the Democratic members that stood up and said, no, this is not right. There's a lot of good in the bill, but there's enough bad where they couldn't vote for it. I give them a lot of respect that they took that vote. It's not a good bill overall. It's challenging, and the trailer bills that may come, again, I wouldn't sign an agreement knowing that there might be trailer bills.
Point of order here. Are we discussing the main motion or the motion to postpone right now?
I believe because of the motion that you had proposed, we can actually go to the underlying motion. Is that?
I believe we're
Okay,
discussing the motion to postpone.
So according to our legal counsel and parliamentarian here, we can entertain discussion on either motion, but Member Chaplin, your motion to postpone indefinitely takes precedent. We will take that up first. So we're just allowing people to speak their minds here a little bit for a period of time. So, Mr. DeCiani, have you concluded your remarks? And if not, please think about that. And I would entertain other members if they'd like to offer some thoughts. I see Member Covert seeking recognition.
I'll close real quick. Again, I bring up just a couple of the challenges. No statute of limitations on police officers. To me, that's criminal. You got a doctor now up in Kenosha that was a cop 16 years ago. They had arrests who now can be accused anonymously. Just to give an example of how crazy that is. Retired police officers who can be accused anonymously of things. Again, we want to hire the best, but if we have laws that discourage the best, are we going to really have the best on the streets? And I think the fact that we haven't had any issues with excessive force, we haven't had any wrongful deaths in this county, because we hire the best and because we've had good laws to back not only the criminal off, but the police officers and our state's attorney, that speaks to the volumes of good policing and good prosecution, which I think we're almost going to be not allowed to do because of the new laws that are going to be passed here. So I'm really encouraging people to vote for this resolution, the underlying resolution. Or at least take a vote. I think we owe it to the people. Thank you.
Thank you, Member DeCiani. Member Covert.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to respond, just make a comment about the motion to postpone indefinitely. I don't think it's unreasonable to have a healthy discussion about this bill and how we're going to handle it, because we all know it will be signed. But specifically for this county board, this issue is going to come back. I don't like the argument of saying that this bill has nothing to do with the county. It does. It does specifically in two aspects, and it will come back. We will have to talk about it. We could talk about it behind closed doors, which would not be transparent. I'd rather talk about it on the floor for the public to hear. But it does affect our county in two ways, specifically financially, as funding of body cams, where we're not getting funding by the state for the body cams that we need. It's going to cost millions of dollars. We don't know where the money is going to come from. And this will come up, when the budget comes up and we're discussing budgetary items and how we're going to pay for it. And the second thing is the cash bail, which is the main source of revenue for the court systems and our state's attorney's office and the sheriff's department. With the cash bail, we as county board members who decide financial issues for the county will have to talk about this. Are we going to increase the court fees? How are we going to make up for the loss of revenue? And I know the argument is, you can't profit off of the backs of poor people, which I agree with. But in a way, taking away cash bail, it's an illusory promise, because, if somebody doesn't have to pay cash bail, they're going to have to pay an increased fine in court fees. It just puts them back in the same position they were before. I think what we need to focus on, when it comes to minorities and stuff, is actually uplifting them economically. But that's another issue for another day. But I don't mind having a discussion about this and just voting on this, whichever way people want to. But it's definitely going to come back. And as county board members, we really do have to consider the financial aspects of it. That is our job. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Covert. Anyone else? Member Hart.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I want to begin by thanking my colleagues for all their comments on this matter, as well as the public and the public commenters that joined us this morning. I think It's really important that any discussion related to either motion that we're discussing right now, but also relating to the legislation, be prefaced with the fact that I think all of us agree that criminal justice reform is absolutely needed, and the time for that reform is right now. There's no doubt in my mind that many communities, particularly communities of color, have drastically different experiences and outcomes with their interactions with the criminal justice systems than many other citizens. And that's not something that's acceptable, and it's not something that we can stand for. I think this resolution, the new resolution that we're discussing right now, does acknowledge some of the positive aspects of this bill, aspects that I support. Increases to victim compensation, expansion of police training on the use of force, prohibition of the chokehold, expanded use of body cameras. I, for one, also think that any inequity in terms of the bail system should be studied. Whether or not that's the solution proposed in this criminal justice bill remains to be seen, but inequality should be something any of us stand for. However, there is a saying that I think is really apropos right now, and that's a good process produces good results. And I don't think anyone on this call or on this in this board meeting believes that the process used in Springfield could be characterized as a good process. Good process matters in Springfield. It also matters here in DuPage County and how we're approaching the debate on this resolution. You know, we've all heard the stories from Springfield about the 700-page bill that was dropped on legislators' desks with just an hour or two to vote. We've all heard the instances of unfunded mandates that this bill is proposing, albeit well-intentioned, it still is an unfunded mandate that affects our county. And frankly, when we hear a chief come to our boardroom today and talk about how a lot of the concerns that law enforcement may have raised on this issue were not taken into account, I think all of us, regardless of where we stand on this bill, would agree that all stakeholders who are primarily impacted should have input into it. And you know, other communities are 100% a stakeholder. The law enforcement community is 100% a stakeholder. I'd also add that our county is a stakeholder since we will be impacted by this. So, you know, at a time where we're seeing increased crime, including in communities of color across the entire region, I believe that giving law enforcement a seat at the table to discuss this bill in further detail is not just the prudent thing to do, but the safe thing to do. And I also think that, you know, it's incumbent on all of us to make sure that we're following a better, higher standard of process. And when we have concerns about the process used to dictate this bill in Springfield, and we have concerns about what happened 2 weeks ago in our own boardroom, I think it is necessary that we move to a vote on this. And if it comes to that vote, I will be supporting the resolution. I believe it's reasonable. I believe it addresses some of the positive aspects of the bill, but I also think that it points out the fact that more input is needed, and we encourage Governor Pritzker to hear that input before signing. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Member Hart. Any further discussion? Anyone else seeking recognition to discuss? I see Member Eckhoff in the boardroom. Yes, sir. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I supported the resolution and was against the motion to postpone 2 weeks ago because the bill in Springfield, as I said before, is a very bad bill. And if any of us had tried to bring a resolution or some type of ordinance before this county board at the last minute, not to mention it's 3:51 in the morning, I think the other members of the board would stand up and scream bloody murder. And that's, and no pun intended. And that's exactly what this bill lacks is transparency. And everybody knows it. And if you had a good bill, you wouldn't roll it out at 3:51 in the morning. You would have given it weeks of time to be vetted by our state's attorney, by our chiefs of police, and by the other individuals in the state that have an interest in it. So the transparency factor of this is just an absolute joke, and it sort of an admission that the bill itself is lacking in merit. The second thing is what I talked about before, that this, if the unfunded mandate of body cams is going to cost this county about $5 million at least, between buying the cameras, storing the footage, hiring extra state's attorneys to respond to FOIA requests, to go through the videos and redact information of private citizens whose information should not be part of the production, and it's going to increase the number of public defenders we have to have, because they're going to have more footage to look at, more discovery to look at, and it's going to be an incredible financial burden on this county that once again Springfield has decided that they wanted to pass something that makes them look apparently good, but is going to be a big burden on local governments. At a time during COVID when we're all suffering financially, they ignore that fact, even though they're begging for money from Washington to fix their empty coffers. Now they're looking at DuPage County to expend more money for something that they don't want to pay for. They also, like I said last time, it's mind-boggling to me in a time when we have surging crime on our streets in Cook County, DuPage County, that the government in Springfield decides it's a time to get rid of cash bond and basically put more criminals on the street. I sent out to everybody an article a couple weeks ago regarding the fact that in Cook County they've tried something like this a little bit from the mandates of the Chief Judge Timothy Evans, and that what they found is that crime has gone up because more people are being released, and that although the Chief Judge did his own report on how well the program was going, he sort of neglected quite a bit of information. And although he reported only 3 extra murders were created in Cook County, there's actually 21 pursuant to a study done by the Chicago Tribune and the University of Utah. So expect crime to go up if this continues, if this passes and it's implemented around the state. And if you vote, like I said before, if you vote to postpone, you're voting against the resolution. Okay, even if the motion to postpone succeeds, you're voting against the resolution. So you're going to be tagged like that, and you should be expected to defend that type of vote. So I'm going to vote against the motion to postpone and for the resolution.
Mr. Chairman, this is Don Pachowski. May I be recognized?
Sure, of course, Don.
Yeah, in my opinion, we're postponing this for a procedural reason. I think we ought to vote the merits of something. I would want to vote on something substantively. But if we're voting to postpone, merely to postpone it so then the governor can sign it, I don't know what purpose that serves. So I would rather vote on the merits of something. And if you have an opinion different than mine, that's fine. But I think to continue this thing my perception is it's done procedurally, then let's vote on the merits of this. There's good in this, there's bad in this. But to procedurally continue this in hopes that it's signed so then it's moot, then did we do our duties as a commissioner? Because I would think we would want to be substantive and talk about the merits of something, not a procedural matter that kicks it down the road until it's signed into law. And I'm not comfortable with the procedural vote on this. I think we ought to have the guts to say whether we like it or not. And if you like it and you have 10 votes, then fine. If you don't like it and there's not votes there, that's fine too. But let's vote the merits of something, not a procedural thing, because we've never done this, in my opinion, where we've tabled something merely to get a different result or something. We don't want to take the guts to vote on something. I want to vote the substance of this, and I don't want to vote on anything that's a procedural issue as I perceive this to be. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Further discussion, Member Zay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't want to belabor this, but you know, when we have the legal question here at the county, like when we're talking about this resolution to postpone indefinitely, we ask our state's attorney. We heard from our state's attorney, our chief legal officer, who has concerns about this. I'm not an attorney, not smart enough to be an attorney, but we know Bob Berlin. We all trust him for his opinion, his strong stands on issues. And he said to us, there's problems with this bill. We heard from our sheriff a month ago saying this is going to have problems with his new programs that he has implemented to rehabilitate prisoners. There's going to have problems there. Some history. Sheriff Zaruba got a grant from the Department of Justice for body cameras. And everybody was going to roll through this about 4 years ago. And we said, wait a minute, let's look into this. And why did we stop a small grant from the Department of Justice? Because we found out it's going to cost us millions of dollars. We always complain about unfunded mandates from Springfield, and this is another one. So when we do have this Chairman Renahan's Committee of the Whole, we're going to see the effects it's going to have on the circuit court clerk, on the state's attorney, on the public defender, on the sheriff. And my question to our members are, where are we going to make these cuts? Is it in our environmental program? Is it in stormwater? Where are we going to get this money? We're asking Springfield to do the right thing. And again, if this is such an important bill, I'm wondering, why has the governor not signed it yet? Because I think he knows there's problems there. And we've heard about trailer bills. Well, you know what? Great. But it doesn't seem like Springfield's too into doing anything since they canceled the entire session in February. I mean, are we going to wait for that? I commend our board. We've been doing our job since the pandemic started. We've been coming in. We've been doing Zoom. State hasn't. The legislator's only been in a few times, and they passed this bill, you know, we'd have some public input, but not enough. So again, procedurally, I know Member Tornatore, we vote to postpone. I have a feeling he's not going to be happy until this is voted up or down. And we're going to keep talking about this for meeting after meeting. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else seeking recognition? Anyone else? Okay. So, Member Schwarzy. There he is.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I stated this in the last meeting. I genuinely appreciate hearing everyone's, you know, sincere and passionate comments. It's very obvious this entire board cares deeply for this community. You know, I'm very fortunate to have lived here for over 20 years and raised my family here. It's a great place to live, and everybody on this board, as well as the public, making comments shows that people really care. And a special shout out about Member Toratore's passionate dialogue at the beginning. I appreciated that very much. So, you know, when it comes to this House bill, it seems like most people have sort of this strong opinion. Everything seems black and white to everybody, which I'm envious of, because I'm struggling immensely with this. You know, on one hand, you know, you have my brothers in blue, who, like I said this last meeting, that, you know, they put their lives on the line every single day. You know, every day they go into work, they're only dealing with people at their worst for the most part. And me, I can't imagine what it would be like going to work every day and only seeing people at their worst. You know, and worse, they don't get the respect that, you know, that police officers should be getting and that they used to get. You know, I was at the Indian Lakes multiple shooting this past weekend. I was on the ambulance performing my job as a paramedic, and you can't even imagine, you know, you can't imagine what it's like to be in that situation when, you know, there's an active shooter on the loose and people have been shot and police have to go in and determine what the heck's going on. It's the tension and the stress is unbelievable. And, you know, will this bill make their jobs more dangerous? Some people say yes, some people say no. But for the opponents of this bill, I would challenge any of you to spend the day in a police officer's shoes. I'm going to go to the other hand now. You know, again, certainly over the past, you know, past couple of years, all you got to do is turn the TV on to see, you know, to understand there's obviously broken parts to, you know, to the law enforcement and minority relationship. You know, there's real stories out there. I've heard them. They're scary. They're disturbing, of innocent people who suffer at times really due to the color of their skin. Incidents that myself, you know, can't even fathom what exists. Just like some people can't fathom what it's like to be a police officer facing gunfire. You can't fathom what it's like to be, you know, maybe a minority in today's world dealing with law enforcement at times. So I would also challenge anyone, a proponent of this bill an opponent of this bill to stand in their shoes. So, you know, we've heard a lot of powerful information and comments from Michael Childress and from the police chiefs. You know, I've gotten a lot of feedback from people. You know, I've talked to police chiefs. I've heard from sincere, good, honest, humble law enforcement officials, from good and honest and humble, sincere municipal leaders, and from good and honest and humble state legislators, and good and honest and humble members of the NAACP, and good and honest and humble general citizens. And even my daughter put her 2 cents in just yesterday. So, you know, I'm as confused as ever. You know, my wish is that, our wonderful law enforcement agencies and our wonderful state legislation can somehow, work the kinks out and whatever, whatever needs to be fixed, or whatever is perfect, keep it, whatever. Fortunately or unfortunately, this isn't a county issue. It's not a county decision. And so I'm going to vote that way, that I do not believe this is a county issue. Thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you, Member Schwarzy. Anyone else? Anyone? I don't see anyone else seeking recognition. We do have a motion by Member Chaplin, seconded by Member Desart, to indefinitely postpone this resolution. And so, Mr. Deputy Clerk, please call the roll.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
That was aye, correct?
Correct. Aye.
Covert.
No.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
No.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
No.
Krajewski.
No.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski. Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Yes.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
No.
And Zay.
No.
Is Member Pachowski participating in the vote here?
Member Pachowski was recorded as voting no.
Okay, sorry, I didn't hear that. Member Chaplin's motion to postpone indefinitely is adopted.
Mr. Chairman?
Forgive me, Mr. Zay, please.
Yes, you changed my vote to aye.
Okay.
Procedurally.
Okay.
That has been
Get it.
updated.
All right. Further discussion? No, there's no further discussion. We have a roll call. Mr. Deputy Clerk, why don't you announce it for the record on Member Chaplin's motion, seconded by Member Desart, to postpone indefinitely.
Following Member Zay's update of his vote, it's 11 voting aye, 7 voting nay on the motion.
Okay. Thank you very much. That motion is adopted. We move on to the next order of business, entitled Finance. And that is Member Liz Chaplin. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve FIR 014521, resolution placing names on payroll.
Okay. There's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge. Aye. Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. And Zay.
Aye.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move on item number B, FIR 014621, resolution budget transfers, February 9th, 2021, of various companies and accounting units.
Is there a second?
Second, Garcia.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. And Zay.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move on item number C, FIR 014721, additional appropriation for the general fund company of $1,401,000.
Second, Rutledge.
There's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. And Zay.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move on item letter D, FIP. I move approval FIP 003221, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order between the County of DuPage, Bond Dickerson and Associates to provide consultation services related to representation in matters related to the specialized area of election law for a period of December 1st, 2020 through November 30th, 2021 for the county clerk for a contract total not to exceed $100,000.
Second, Rutledge.
There's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Real quick, Chairman.
Oh, yeah. Member Krajewski.
Yeah, we had the debate at the Finance Committee regarding this, and I did talk to State's Attorney Bob Berlin called, and I talked to Jeff, and he's a current State's Attorney, Bond Dixon, and the amount of funding ran out because of the election, so this isn't really a new contract starting December 1st. So Jeff and the State's Attorney get together, and they're going to write that up when it comes to us in the future a little differently, but it's not a new contract starting December 1st. We've run out of money. He's a current, or their firm is current State's Attorney, and so this is just increasing funding for current election stuff that's going on.
Okay.
So they're going to get together, and it's going to be written up differently as it comes to us.
Thank you. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please take the roll.
Chaplin. Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye. Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. And Zay.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Chaplin.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move on item E, FIP 002821, recommendation for the approval of a contract renewal to Office Depot for the purchase of office supplies for finance and various other departments throughout the county for a period of February 12, 2021 through February 11, 2022 for a contract total amount not to exceed $45,000 per the lowest bid.
Second, Garcia.
And a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge. Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. And Zay.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Chaplin. A fine report. Under the order of environmental, Member Sheila Rutledge.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. I only have one resolution to advance this morning. That is ENR 013721. It is a notice of participation for the DuPage County Electronics Recycling Program 2022.
Second, Chaplin.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski. And Renahan.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Member Rutledge. On to the order of ETSB, Member Greg Schwarzy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve item ETS-R-0143-21, resolution to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage on behalf of the Emergency Telephone System Board and the DuPage Public Safety Communications for reimbursement of consolidation costs, total amount of $803,991, pending parent committee approval.
Second to start.
And a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
And Rutledge.
Aye.
I move to approve item ETS-R-0144-21, resolution to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage on behalf of the Emergency Telephone System Board and the Village of Addison for the reimbursement of consolidation costs in the total amount of $200,000 pending parent committee approval.
Second to start.
There's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
And Rutledge.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Schwarzy. A fine report. On to the Order of Health and Human Services, Member Renahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move approval of HHS Resolution 8621, the DuPage County Consortium's second reading, recommendation for approval of the 2021 Annual Action Plan element of the 2020 to 2024 Consolidated Plan for Community Development Block Grant Investment Partnership for Home ESG to qualify to receive HUD grant funds in $6 million.
Second, Chaplin.
Second, Schwarzy.
And a motion and a second. I think Chaplin piped up first for her second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
And Pachowski.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Renahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to combine HHS items 12B, C, D, and E. They're all CSBG funded contract for services dated January through December of 2021.
Schwarzy, second.
There's been a motion and a second to combine these items. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
And Pachowski.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. These items B, C, D, and E are combined. Please proceed, Member Renahan.
Thank you. I move approval HHSP 221, which is a contract with Home DuPage for financial counseling and workshops to low-income residents of DuPage, not to exceed $43,885. I move on HHSP 3-21, a contract with subgrantee 360 Youth Services for case management, job coaching, preparedness, transportation, GED coaching to homeless youth in DuPage County, not to exceed $48,749. I move on HHSP 4-21, a contract with Catholic Charities Hope House to assist 140 homeless residents with temporary housing, case management, financial assistance, and support to the back-to-school fair, not to exceed $60,000. And I move on HHSP 5-21, contract purchase order with Outreach Community Services to provide case management counseling, job skill training, experience, work readiness training, and GED assistance to low-income youth residing in DuPage County, for a amount total of $85,000.
Second, Desart.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
And Pachowski.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Renahan. On to the order of judicial public safety. Member Renahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As was noted earlier in our conversation, by way of committee update, March 2nd, we will be having a fleshing out of the House bill in terms of impact, financial, and processes. So just please put that on your calendar. The entire board is definitely encouraged to attend. And with that, I will move approval of JPSP 26-21, recommendation for approval of a contract purchase order to Business IT Source, Inc. for renewal of IBM Passport Advantage for the Circuit Court Clerk's Office for a contract total amount of $88,722.04 per quote.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second by Member Desart. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
And Pachowski.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Renahan. On to the order of legislative. Member Desart.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, everyone. By way of a committee report, during our legislative committee meeting today at 2 o'clock, we'll hear from our Springfield lobbyist. Mark Fullis will be with us. He'll discuss capital projects, Rebuild Illinois infrastructure projects, and we'll also see a first reading of the DuPage County's 2021 federal legislative agenda. And we have a special last-minute guest as of this morning. Bill Viney is going to be joining us from Washington to answer any questions about our proposed federal agenda and to discuss the COVID relief package pending in Congress and how the $360 billion set aside for state and local governments will be distributed. So that's during our legislative meeting at 2 o'clock this afternoon. I hope to see you all there. And so with that, I would like to move to the resolution adopting the county's 2021 state legislative program.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Sorry, who was the second?
I'm not sure.
LaPlante.
All right, thank you. Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
And Covert.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Desart. On to the order of Public Works. Member Ozog.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, I'd like to make a special thank you or send out a special thank you to all of our public works and facilities employees who work especially hard when we've entered the great tundra, which we appear to be in for the next couple weeks. I hope less than that. But I really want to thank everybody who's out there in these extreme conditions. Today I have, I'd like to start with resolution FMR. I'd like to move to approve FMR 014021, recommendation for the approval of the agreement between the County of DuPage and DuPage County Employee Credit Union for the lease of space in the JTK Administration Building and ATM operations at the Sheriff's Office and Henry J. Hyde Judicial Office Facility for facilities management for a total sum of $1 for the 5-year period of August 9th, 2021 through August 9th, 2026.
Second, Chaplin.
Great. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second,
Second, Garcia.
Second, Garcia. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ozog.
Yes.
Pachowski. Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski. And LaPlante.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Ozog?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve PWR 0141-21 resolution, the Nordic Park Third Amendment to Standard Water Tower Lease Agreement with T-Mobile.
Been a motion and a second by Member
Chaplin, second.
Chaplin. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ozog.
Yes.
Pachowski. Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
And LaPlante.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Ozog?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve FMP 002121, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Gray Bar Electric Company Incorporated to furnish and deliver electrical, lighting, data and communication, networking, and security products as needed for various county facilities, for facilities management, public works, stormwater, and the Division of Transportation for the period February 10th, 2021 through January 31st, 2023, for a total contract not to exceed $644,000. That broken down facilities management $400,000, $175,000 public works, stormwater $24,000, and the Division of Transportation $45,000. Contract pursuant to the Intergovernmental Cooperation Act, Omnia Partners Contract #EV-2370.
Very complete description. Thank you. There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Chaplin.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ozog.
Yes.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez. Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski. And LaPlante.
Aye.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Ozog?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move to combine and approve items D and E, PWP 002321 and PWP 002421.
A motion to combine items D and E. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll. Is there a second?
Second, Chaplin.
Seconded by Chaplin. Forgive me. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ozog.
Yes.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
And LaPlante.
Aye.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The items are combined. Please proceed, Member Ozog.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to approve PWP 002321, an agreement between the County of DuPage, Illinois, and Deutschler Engineering Corporation for on-call professional engineering services, for process control projects at facilities for various regions throughout the county for public works for the period February 9th, 2021 through November 30th, 2023, for a total contract amount not to exceed $95,000. I also move to approve PWP 002421, an agreement between the County of DuPage, Illinois, and Hampton, Lenzini, and Renwick Incorporated for professional design engineering services, water, sewer, and infrastructure for DuPage County Public Works Department for the period February 9th, 2021 through November 30th, 2023, for a total contract amount not to exceed $95,000.
Thank you. There's been a motion by Member Ozog, seconded by Member Salmon. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Ozog.
Yes.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatore. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
And LaPlante.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Those resolutions are adopted. Thank you, Member Ozog. On to the order of stormwater, Mr. Jim Zay.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Move on SMR 10521, a recommendation for acceptance of a permanent construction easement. You say amount of $1. This is for a small scale drainage project in unincorporated Glen Ellen.
Been a motion, is there a second?
Second, Chaplin.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
And Tornatore.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Zay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move on SMR 10621, acceptance of a temporary construction easement, true, $1. This is for a small scale drainage project to help flooding in unincorporated Lombard.
Second, Chavez.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
And Tornatore.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Zay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll move on SMR 13821, approval of the St. Joseph's Creek Watershed Plan.
Second, Garcia.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chairman?
Oh, I'm sorry. Member Desart seeking recognition.
Thank you. I just had a couple of questions about this. I see that the plan was presented to Stormwater back on December 1st, 2020. And unfortunately, I wasn't on Stormwater then, but I am now. So my questions are, this includes raising the 55th Street or creating a berm there, purchasing 19 structures, flood-proofing 26 others. The cost estimate, it says, has slightly decreased, but it doesn't say what in the board packet what that decrease is. And I know that there was a link that I clicked that was another 118 pages, and you kind of had to add up all the costs. So my questions are, what is the final cost of the project? The last figure I added up was $37.9 million. And then my other question is, who pays for this project? I know there's a lot of stakeholders: DuPage County, the Village of Lisle, Downers Grove, Westmont. Who funds this project? Thank you.
Right. Well, first I'll go before Sarah jumps on, but obviously there are many phases to this watershed plan. We do these plans so then we can basically adjust to the flooding there. This gives us the opportunity by approving it. There's many different stages in it that we can now seek state and federal funding to help us fund these projects. So that's the main goal of looking at St. Joseph's Creek, passing the watershed plan, and then moving forward. No, we don't have 37.9 million, but it gets us on there. There's some options we won't do, but they're in there. Just they're too cost prohibitive. But there's others like buyouts and other options that we will use and that we will go out and seek funding for. And if Sarah's on.
And then the buyouts, I just did a quick math thing. The average home value in DuPage County is $316,000. And then I saw in the packet that we give, when we buy it out, we do fair market value plus 20%. So if we did buy out the 19 structures, that's about a little over $7 million. Is that how it works?
It is, and our list is just not mandatory. We ask people if they want to be put on that list, and then if we get money, they're ranked at that point. If we do have money for it, sometimes when we just had, like in Carroll Stream, we got money from HUD for low and mid housing. costs there. We did get to do some buyouts and do some projects. But again, those are just the structures that are affected by St. Joseph's Creek. And again, they're rated. And yeah, if we do get the money, we don't think we'll buy all 19, but they're on that list in case they ever want to sell and we do have the money, we'll purchase the property.
Thank you, Jim. So then my final question is, you said that we're looking for state and federal money for this. So this board is approving the St. Joseph Creek watershed plan today, but we're not sure if we're going to get the money to actually go through with it.
Right.
Is that
that's how watershed plans are. We do it. We basically tell the government and tell the neighbors, these are the problems. These are the solutions that we've come up with engineering wise. And then we go out and seek ways then to fund that. If it's not through the county, through Lyle, through state and federal funds.
All right. So Bill Viney is going to be on the legislative call today. Maybe you can ask him about this money, getting
Sure.
this money to DuPage County. Anything else to add, Sarah Hun?
Can you guys hear me? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
great. No, actually, Chairman Zay did a great job of explaining everything, and of course he did. He's been through this for many times over. That is exactly why we put together these plans, is so we can put together something, and you will see when the legislative, the capital plan comes out, that there is a project from the St. Joseph Creek watershed plan included in there that was developed out of this planning process. And we did work with the communities, and both the county and any community within the St. Joseph Creek watershed plan can move forward with this project. Of note, by including this in the official watershed plan and noting this watershed plan in the county's natural hazards mitigation plan, that makes this plan and the projects in this plan eligible for FEMA funds, which is typically a 75% FEMA lift with a 25% local match. And so getting these projects in a plan and the plan approved by committee is a huge milestone for the stormwater staff and the committee of the stormwater management program. And so again, as I mentioned, Chairman Zay covered it very well, and that's exactly why we do these plans, so we can get them off to Bill Viney and he can push for us to get funding.
Would we also be eligible for some of the Rebuild Illinois funds at the state level?
Typically, we are under the stormwater program, but we do try, and we try to relate them to other things. Sometimes there's transportation collaborative projects we can utilize these funds or these projects with. If there's raising a street, we may be able to work with Downers Grove to improve that street and address the stormwater issue at the same time. And also, one other thing to note, and this is what Chairman Zay was talking about with the stormwater program, by having a lot of these projects in a plan and shovel ready. When we got disaster funds from HUD, we were able to capitalize on that to the tune of about $30 million.
All right, Sarah Hun, thank you. Chairman Zay, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion on this particular item? Seeing none, hearing none, I believe there was a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez. Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Wachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
And Tornatori.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Mr. Zay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move on SMR 13921, approval of the illicit discharge detention and elimination ordinance amendment.
Second Garcia.
On a motion and a second, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Wachowski. Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
And Tornatori.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Jim Zay. On to the order of technology, Member Ashley Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to combine items A, B, C, and D on the technology agenda.
There's been a motion. Is there a second?
Second, Covert.
By Member Covert to combine A, B, C, and D. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
And Schwarzy.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The items are combined. Member Selman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move for approval TEP 27-21, a recommendation for the approval of a contract to Park Place Technologies for data maintenance for post-warranty support. This contract goes from March 1st, 2021 to February 28th, 2022 for a total of $31,932.46. I move on TEP 29-21, recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to Comcast Cable for internet services for IT for a total of $45,600. That contract's April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2022. I move on TEP 30-21, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Environmental Systems Research Institute to provide support for our GIS system. That contract is March 9th, 2021 through March 8th, 2022 for a total of $115,426.95. And lastly, I move on TEP 31-21, recommendation for the approval of a contract to Tyler Technologies for the procurement, implementation, and maintenance of an integrated property tax solution for the treasurer, county clerk, supervisor of assessments, and IT for a total amount of $7,178,196.
Second, Chavez.
Been a motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori.
Aye.
Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
And Schwarzy.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Thank you, Member Selman. Very nice, very efficient. On to the order of transportation, Member Pachowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On committee updates, I want to thank staff, Public Works, Stormwater, and our Department of Transportation for the great job they did over the weekend. You can always tell the difference between a county road and a state road, so thank you guys. That being said, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve DTR 10421, an intergovernmental agreement between the County of DuPage, Illinois State Toll Authority, Illinois Department of Transportation, County of Cook, Village of Franklin Park, and City of North Lake for improvements to the Elgin O'Hare 294 corridor at no cost.
Seconded by Member DeCiani. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge. Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
And Ozog.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Pachowski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to combine agenda items B, C, D, and E. These are all amendments to resolutions.
Been a motion, and is there a second? Seconded by Member DeCiani to combine items B, C, D, and E. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge. Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatori. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia. Garcia.
Can only vote once.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
And Ozog.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. The items are combined. Please proceed,
Thank you,
Mr.
Chairman.
Pachalski.
I'd move to approve amendment to DTR 74A20, issue to Mead Electric for the 2020 underpass lighting and traffic signal LED upgrade project to decrease the funding in the amount of $1,280.32 and close, resulting in a final cost of $328,201.52 and a decrease of 0.39%. Move to approve amendment to DTR 393A19, issued to Midwest Fence for guardrail installation along Geneva Road from Sunset to Morningside Avenue to decrease the funding in the amount of $6,086.75. Close the resulting contract and a final cost of $81,115.75, a decrease of 6.98%. And move to approve amendment to DTR 243A19, issued to A-Lamp Concrete Contractors for the 2019 various pavement patching program section to decrease the funding $61,784.51, resulting in a final cost of $432,732.54, a decrease of 12.49%. And lastly, to approve amendment to DTR 177A19, issued to Superior Road Striping for the 2019 pavement marking program maintenance program to decrease the funding in the amount of $33,508.74, resulting in a final county cost of $362,470.26, a decrease of 8.46%.
Second, DeCiani.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Pachalski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge. Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatore. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
And Ozog.
Aye.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Pachalski.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Move to approve DTP 22-21, agreement between the County of DuPage and Osceola, Inc. for annual subscription services for software integration between the Osceola online permitting software and Blue Beam plan review software for the period of February 9th, 2021 to November 30th, 2022. For building and zoning, $11,770.84, stormwater, $11,770.83, and transportation, $11,770.83, and public work, $11,770.83, for a contract not to exceed $47,083.33.
Second to start.
There's been a motion and a second by Member Desart. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Chalsky.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge. Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatore. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
I'm sorry, Covert.
Aye.
Then Desart. DeCiani.
Aye.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
And Ozog.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. Member Pachalski.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Lastly, move to approve DTP 2521, a contract with Petroleum Traders Corporation to furnish and deliver gasoline and diesel fuel as needed for the Department of Transportation and Public Works for the period of April 1st, 2021 through March 31st, 2022 for a contract not to exceed $1,275,000 per renewal under the bid award, second of 3 options to renew.
Second, DeCiani.
A motion and a second. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Pachalski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
Schwarzy.
Aye.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatore. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Eckhoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
And Ozog.
Aye.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Clerk. That concludes our committee reports. We move on to the next order of business entitled Old Business. Old Business. Is anyone seeking recognition on the order of Old Business? I see there, it looks like Member Rutledge in the boardroom.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Cronin. I just want to give thanks to my fellow board members and our county for, over the weekend, the press release came out from Arts DuPage about the $300,000 you all helped me direct to arts organizations in DuPage County. And now we can sort of see the end of this long road, and we're all hoping that these entities will have survived to be able to provide us more entertainment once we can move about in our communities. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you for your leadership on these arts issues, and I know we have member LaPlante is very interested and very engaged as well, so we have a lot of good leadership in the area of art on our board, and that makes us very fortunate. Anyone else seeking recognition on the order of old business? Old business. I see member Zay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You know, I want to thank my colleagues who spoke today on the resolution and the passion that member Tornatore, member Eckhoff, member Hart, many colleagues, even member Schwarzy had put into this. You know, I had brought this up over a month and a half ago, and we're going to continue to fight for fair social justice reform, for law enforcement, for the safety of our residents. That's the number one priority here in DuPage County. And many people wondered why I changed my vote. Well, that's because I feel so strongly I changed the vote. And having voted in the majority, I will be bringing this back in 2 weeks. So maybe our colleagues on the other side who have voted against this will actually tell us why this is such a great piece of legislation. We know we're going to meet the committee of the whole, but again, there are major concerns about this, that it does affect the county, affects us financially. You know, we talk about the arts and about stormwater and about environment. There's things we're going to have to talk about in the future because of this that we're going to have to get rid of. And I think what we're asking for is this a fair shake from Springfield, and how do we fund some of these issues and what the impacts are going to be. And we've heard from many experts in law enforcement telling us this is going to be a big effect, and the safety of our residents is a big priority here. We had a referendum, people didn't like it, but it passed over by 70%. So again, having voted in the majority, I will be bringing it back in 2 weeks.
Okay, thank you, members A. Anyone else seeking recognition on the order of old business? Old business. Seeing none, hearing none, we move on to the next order of business entitled New Business. New Business. There's member DeCiani.
Thank you, Chairman. I just wanted to make mention of a new recent House bill that was filed. It's House Bill 16. It's an expansion of Medicaid for kids with autism. I just forwarded that House bill over to our Madam Chairwoman Dessart for consideration. I know there's a legislative committee meeting today at 2. I am hoping that our legislative committee will put this on their support list of good bills. 1 in 3 of our kids in DuPage are on Medicaid, and 1 in 54 of those children will be diagnosed, if not already, been diagnosed with autism. So, it's a huge issue, and this cleans up some legislation that we passed about a year and a half ago in the BIMP bill, and also expands more coverage and more providers. So it's a good piece of legislation. Representative Conroy is carrying it as the chief sponsor, and I ask that we consider supporting this as a county board, given the effects within our own residents and the numbers that we have. Thank you.
Thank you, member DeCiani. I see member Tornatore seeking recognition.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to acknowledge the yeoman work of the Bloomingdale Police Department and Merit that we heard this morning in the response to the Indian Lakes shooting and melee that occurred Sunday morning in Bloomingdale. Not only did they respond as police officers do, but their heroic efforts saved lives. They were literally giving medical attention to shooting victims, including one of the officers carrying someone down 4 flights of stairs because the elevator was not functional because the deceased person was in it. Unfortunately, the shooter has not been identified. That's primarily because there was very little, if any, cooperation from those who were there, but I can assure you that Bloomingdale is on it, as well as dealing with the issue with the hotel. But hats off to the Bloomingdale Police Department and all the neighboring communities who stopped something which could have been a lot worse and kept us safe in the area and in District 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tornatore. Appreciate those remarks. Anyone else seeking recognition on the order of new business? Seeing none, hearing none, we do not have any matter to come before us on the order of executive session. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved, Selman.
Second, Zay.
So moved by Member Selman, seconded by Member Zay, to adjourn this meeting to Tuesday, February 23rd, 2021 at 10 a.m. All those in favor say aye.
Roll call.
Gotta have a roll call. I'm sorry. What am I doing here? So, Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Selman.
Aye.
Tornatore. Zay.
Aye.
Chaplin.
Aye.
Chavez.
Aye.
Covert.
Aye.
Desart.
Aye.
DeCiani.
Aye.
Pekoff. Garcia.
Aye.
Hart.
Aye.
Krajewski.
Aye.
LaPlante.
Aye.
Ozog.
Aye.
Pachowski.
Aye.
Renahan.
Aye.
Rutledge.
Aye.
And Schwarzy.
Aye.
Okay. There are the requisite number of votes voting aye to adjourn our meeting. So this meeting has been adjourned to Tuesday, February 23rd of 2021 at 10 a.m. Thank you very much.